You've been following these negotiations closely. How would you describe the way they are progressing?
Not very well, Greeny. I think they've been talking a lot, but they don't seem to have made much progress on the major financial issues, which, of course, are the most important ones, the ones that will ultimately determine this. In the last CBA, the players' share of revenue was established, all revenue was established at no lower than 47% in any given year. They would like that number to come up. To this point, my understanding is that owners have not indicated a willingness to move off of that number, and that from the owner's side, they're interested in discussing the possible expansion of the season. Multiple ideas have been floated: 17-game season, 18-game season, expanded playoffs instead of expanding the regular season. That last one's one that I think the players might support, but no concrete proposals there yet. So they're kind of still dancing around each other and figuring out what the major priorities are, and they haven't really got to the nitty-gritty of negotiation. But there's a real disconnect on this expanded season. Players didn't want it in the first place, and now, 2-3 days after the retirement of Andrew Luck, one of the game's brightest stars at the age of 29, because he felt like a 16-game season was too much, I think that definitely, if there was any chance that the players were going to support an idea like this, it definitely dampens that significantly.
Interesting. So you're saying that the retirement of Andrew Luck, sneaky big news, actually might have an impact on the CBA negotiation. Great to see you, Dan. Thank you very much. I want to take this to the table here and turn to my two former players. You played, how many years you played?
12.
12 seasons in the NFL, times 16. It's a lot of games, plus the playoffs. Would you, as a player, when you were playing, if there were more money in it, have been willing to go to an 18-game season?
Yes, I would have. I would have, because going into it, see, my mindset was I knew what I signed up for. Okay, I know all the issues that the players are seeing as far as player safety and ramifications later on in life. I knew going in playing in professional football that, okay, if I'm having 60 train wrecks in a game times that however many games, there's going to be residual effect. But what's the one way to offset that? Give me more money. Give me more money. And I think players along that line think similarly. If we're going to expand, then I need more money on the table.
And listen, I mean, you grew up in this sport, right? For those who don't know, Bob's dad was an NFL player for a long time, played for the Giants. I remember him well. So having grown up in it, what do you think of that? Do you think if there were really more money? Because at this point, everything is posturing. I've covered enough of these negotiations to know one side will say, well, we're not interested in that, and the other side will say the same, and it's all with some goal of meeting in the middle. Do you think the players would go for 17 or 18 games?
I think ultimately they will, but it's going to take a lot. Like Woody said, I mean, there's going to be money involved, but this isn't just going to be some little incremental bump. These guys they don't want it based upon how they feel. And there may be some horse trading that goes on with the relaxed drug testing policies, but it's going to really come down to, I think, the financial compensation package that's put together to where this isn't just a little bit more. They're going to want a substantial chunk of those next 2 games, or possibly maybe even in concert with that, an expanded playoffs where they'll be getting some more of that as well.
I've said this many times. I'm totally against it, and in addition to any other reasons, I just don't think it's a good idea. I think the oldest adage of show business, which at the end of the day, that's what this is always leave them wanting more. The scarcity of the product is one of the many things that makes pro football so popular. There just aren't that many games. I do not think adding them will necessarily, in the long run, make the game more popular. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports, highlights, and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.